Hey YouTube, as I shoot this, G5, the 5th annual gathering of the Usual Suspects Network in Vegas, was about a week ago. And while I was there, I was talking to a couple of my friends, Jesse Jarosz and Charles Marlowe. And we were discussing about Jesse's earlier knives and his beginning into custom knife making. And I don't know if you know this, but he and Charles are good friends, and they talk a lot about the craft of knife making. So we were discussing his early pieces, and we're talking about how if you really wanted to look at the growth of Jarosz knives over time, you could probably just look at my collection. And I thought, well, I might as well make a video doing that, doing just that. So without further ado, let's get started. We have the old stuff on the left, and the most new stuff I own on the right. So back in the early days, Jesse started making what are now called the mini designs. And you can see this one doesn't have any kind of polishing or logo. It simply has the heat-treated finish and then the grind lines. And while it doesn't have fit and finish anywhere near what he's doing now, it still has a lot of good ergonomics and the things that he is currently known for. So he has this ingenious design of having a 2-finger grip, but then using the lanyard to extend it to having a 4-finger grip, which is kind of nice. I like that. And the grinds are pretty sharp. They're not as sharp as they are now, but considering this is really one of his first knives that he sold. This is a great start, and it has like a strong tanto point on it too. I've used this quite a bit over the last few years, and it's still a great knife. I should say that was probably in mid to early 2011. As I'm filming it, it's September 2013. The next is my design. This is a kitchen knife. It's a chopping knife that I designed and I had Jesse make. We can see, let's see. Well, if we can't see it, I'll just tell you. We can start seeing it. It says PTB JMJ 11 for 2011. Of course, my initials and his initials. So this is again the kitchen knife that he made after my design, and I guess I'll brag and boast a little bit. It feels really comfortable, and Jesse did a great job with these scallops. The metal is so thick and so tall that he couldn't make this thumb ramp out of metal, and he actually used like carbon fiber and epoxy to get that thumb ramp, which is pretty cool. But yeah, and I could tell again his full flat grind, and it came extremely sharp, and it needs to be sharpened now. I've used it for 2 years without sharpening it. And then we'll get on to his designs again. This is, I believe, his Hunter model with the harpoon tanto and a multi-grind kind of things. We have a high hollow grind on the flat portion, and then a flat grind here. Of course, the harpooning, and again just a T for tanto JMJ in 2011. This is, I believe, like a carbon fiber type thing. Even back then he was doing colored liners, which I mean he's still doing now, but he's been doing that for quite a while. The gold and black motif here, and this is really comfortable. It's a unique shape that I don't know if I've ever seen done before. Before Jesse did it, but it's extremely comfortable, and I don't know, maybe I can talk him into doing it again. So then he made 2 of these with the harpoon shape, the tanto and the drop point, or spear point, and over the years I've collected both of them, which I guess isn't such a surprise. This one has linen micarta with, it's hard to tell, but the liners are actually blue. You can see that a little bit. Blue liners, again, same shape. This is a little thinner knife. Well, the handle is a little thinner. But again, it's another very sharp knife. It doesn't have the fit and finish, doesn't have the polishing that he does now, but his ergonomics have always been very, very good. So then, again, that's around 2011. Later in 2011, he started making folders. Now this is not, I don't own this. This is borrowed from my friend Bart, and I really appreciate that, man. And so this is his 100 model. And we can see here that his ergonomics, again, are extremely good. And throughout the rest of his designs, we'll see these, like here, as we get closer, we'll see that he has these two sweeps for like a 2+2 kind of handle configuration. And a very utilitarian drop point. Here we first see the Jarosz logo. Simple, all capitalized block letters. This has just been sent in for a refurb, so it has a polished edge on it now. I don't know if it came with it. Kind of a harpoon-looking swedge, which is really cool. All titanium. He had these big bull pivot, very similar to the Strider pivots. Interesting body screws. I'm not sure what kind of screws you would call that. Orange backspacer and a deep carry pocket clip, which he has since changed. But this was his first folder. I guess there's 4 of them that he had for G3 2 years ago. And these are super comfortable. Again, I'll keep saying that the fit and finish isn't like it is now, but the ergonomics and the sharpness have always been there. Again, this is a hollow grind. I think almost all of his knives are hollow grind, either hollow or full flat grind. But this is what started it all. I mean, so many people love his 75. Without the 100, there probably would not be a 75. So this is one of the foundations of Jarosz knives. Another founding model of Jarosz knives is the Scouts. You can see it's actually on the back of his shirt. His first run of shirts for Jarosz knives is a Scout. And it was designed to be a hunting knife. He and his family, particularly I guess he and his dad, are into hunting and skinning, and this was kind of designed with that in mind. Micarta handle, I guess it was like green when it started, but now it's been browned with oils and dirt. Gold or yellow liners, and just a nice drop point type of shape. Again, it has that block letter logo, which he used for quite some time. Great grooves up top. The jimping goes pretty far, so you can really do whatever you need to get done. It's an extremely comfortable knife, and the edge is so thin down here. A lot of times I use this as my kitchen knife, and paired with that, you can get really pretty much everything I need done in the kitchen can be done with these 2 knives. Then back in, that was also a G3, so in September. And before I get into this knife, I'm going to cut it off, and then I'll have to join the 2 clips. So we'll be right back. Alright, so I just finished talking about these 2 G3 knives, 2011. November of 2011, he made the more minis in different shapes. We have like a saber grind here. This is flat ground, so it's a saber grind. And then DLC'd them. And this one was a gift to me back in November or December of 2011 because I was very ill for about 4 weeks, and this was kind of a like a get well present, which was very nice of him. On top of being a great maker, he's actually a very good friend. So this is a cool knife. I've used this in my my 5th pocket in jeans for a couple of years now, and it's just a great little knife. I've given this to people who are non-knife people to use because I don't want to give them my folders, and they love this knife. I mean, I can't tell how many times I've heard from girls telling me this is just a cute knife, and it's it's a Jarosz knife, so it's super sharp and extremely functional. And again, it has that 2-finger grip, which is extended to a 4-finger grip with the lanyard. Then for a while there, he was doing regrinds, and he pimped my CQC7 into a Warncliffe, which, oh my gosh, I love this knife. I don't think I carried enough. I carried the hell out of it when I first got it, but since getting the my 75s, this one hasn't gotten as much pocket time as it should. I have to change that. Again, we see the block lettering, Jarosz, and this is a chisel hollow grind with a mirror finish. For the longest time, this was the sharpest knife I owned until I got my 75s. It has a maroon micarta handles, which are hand contoured, super smooth and slick and just so comfortable. Very comfortable and extremely sharp. It's one of my favorites, actually. And then that was, oh gosh, I can't remember the date, but I want to say early 2012. In the spring of 2012, he started using F-16 brake rotor, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's literally the brake rotor from F-16 jet. He was able to get some supply of that, and he used that on a number of knives, including his Archons and 75s, and this one is a one-off Damascus piece. This is a carbon Damascus, so there's a little rust by the ricasso, which is, I'm not worried about it. Super sharp, as to be expected, and there is the Jarosz logo is here. Is it? I think it's, maybe it's not. I really thought there was a Jarosz logo on this, but I guess I can't tell. Anyway, it's a beautiful knife. I also have carried this in my coin pocket, my fifth pocket, my jeans for quite a while. It's extremely comfortable to use. He has this sweep right here for your thumb, and it's a perfect placement. So you get, again, 2-finger grip here. You drop your thumb on it, and I've sliced cardboard for, sheets and sheets of cardboard with this, and it's just a phenomenal cutting knife. Don't let the prettiness fool you. It is still a workhorse of a knife. I don't think he's made any. I think this is the only one he's ever made of this shape, and I've sent him my critiques of it. So if he ever comes out with it again, it'll probably be a little different, but still probably going to be a great knife. And then sometime again in spring of 2012, he made this little guy, another mini. Tonto, not so dissimilar from that first Tonto mini, which you can see right there as I'm pointing at it. But this one, I believe, is zero ground, which is pretty cool. Zero grind on both the flat portion here and the Tonto portion up here. And I think this is etched with, I think it's etched with nail polish. I think that's what the black portion is. But anyway, it looks super cool. And as all of his knives are, it's very sharp. This is another one-of-a-kind piece, which I was fortunate enough to grab off of the Cove from the original owner. And then just before G4, he made, which was September 2012, he made these, which are little bottle openers, and a pry bar, and a flathead screwdriver. And then this was a gift from a friend of mine, which is a little jester with my USN logo name on it, RW, and then ATR is over here, ATR. And it's cool. This is actually the best bottle cap opener that I own, and there's one reason, because there's actually a lip. There's a lip right here. And when it curves, it grabs onto the bottle, and my God, it flips, it pops that bottle cap open every single time. And oh my gosh, it's just a joy to use. And you can see here that's number 4, and it has this is all tie, and it's been stonewashed and then flamed. He also made some that were just stonewashed without the flaming, and I think he made 12 in total. And that was, again, around the time of G4. Oops. Shortly after G4, I got my Gen 1 Model 75. And this was from October 2012. And this is a joy to behold. It's striking how beautiful it is. I didn't have him polish it completely because I liked having that working finish, or what looks like a working finish. I think the polish does work better. But now you can see the advent of the new Jarosz logo with that kind of eagle wings and the Jarosz and the half moon, half crescent. Drop point with polished linen micarta, and I don't know if it's black G10 or black micarta backspacer. But this is just a phenomenal knife. This is the Gen 1, like I said. This is his flagship knife. This knife won him, not this particular knife, but the Model 75 won him Best New Knife Maker at the 2012 gathering, and for good reason. And then earlier this year, so gosh, it's September now. I think this was right around June of 2013, maybe earlier. But this is his first model in the Full Tech line, which has now been, the name has been dropped, but it's still the same kind of thing. This is a full custom, but only at $350. So we have the polished edge, a chisel grind spear point, and Jarosz logo. He went back to the older block style. You see here, Full Tech 105. Contour G10 handles. I threw on there a steel flame pocket clip, and probably G10 backspacer. This is the Gen 2, so it's just a bit bigger than the Gen 1 75. It's longer, and I can get a better grip on it. This is my favorite knife in my collection. I have some Lamberts. I have a Chris Reeve. I've got a bunch of Emersons, but this one gets the most pocket time. It's just the most comfortable knife that I own, and it cuts like a laser. It's phenomenal. So that's a little chronological history of Jarosz knives from 2011 to fourth quarter of 2013, and I know he's got a lot left to there's a lot coming, and I'm excited to get some of those pieces as well. Thanks for your attention. I know this is getting close to like a 16-17 minute video, so I appreciate your attention. If you've gotten this far, maybe I deserve a little thumbs up. I would appreciate that. And as always, be dressed to play and geared to slaughter. See you, YouTube.